I even watched this movie, I saw Facebook moms and sun-fearing basement dwellers alike crying out how a movie that makes mention of natural bodily functions was inappropriate for children. So that's not okay, but this...
And let her taste the fires of hell!
Wanna pollinate with a real bug?
I thought the Earth wasn't supposed to move until the honeymoon.
is fine. Maybe future generations are doomed. Hello and welcome to the Martini Shot. My name is Brandon and today I am going to be reviewing the 2022 animated Pixar film, Turning Red. But before I do that, I'm going to be doing something a little bit different than usual. You see, it dawned on me that while making cocktails inspired by kids' movies is fine, it kind of seems unfair to leave the kids out on all the fun. So today I will be showing you how to make the Red Panda cocktail and mocktail, so the entire family can have something to sip on while watching the movie. So for the Red Panda cocktail, I wanted to kind of do a merger of flavors I thought kids would like, and also something that maybe ties into the Chinese heritage of the main family in this film. And to do that, I am going to be using something I'm actually a really big fan of, and this is lychee liquor. Now, if you don't know what lychee is, it is a fruit found in some of the Southeast Asian countries that's kind of akin to, let's say, a cross between a strawberry and a melon. I'm a big fan of this liqueur. It's not overly sweet, but it's incredibly tasty, and you really only need a little bit to get the flavor in there, and I think it's gonna pair really well with some fresh strawberries and a little bit of lemon. And we're also going to be using a little bit of this passion tea just to bring a little bit more citrus into it and a little bit of a spice with the extra cinnamon in there. And then of course for the kids' drink, we can't have them drinking the liqueur. So what I have here is a lychee soda. Soda, juice, kind of somewhere in between. It's going to give you the same kind of flavor but without the alcohol, and it's pretty readily available. I think you can find it in most grocery stores, but if not, if you happen to have an Asian market, maybe like an H-Mart near you, you can definitely use that and they should 100% have it. So let's go ahead and give the kids something to drink first. Let's go ahead and start with the mocktail. So to start with that, we are going to be using 3 ounces of homemade strawberry juice. And this is really simple to make. I pretty much just did a 2-to-1 ratio in cups of strawberry to water, and then you throw in maybe about a teaspoon or a tablespoon of sugar just to sweeten it up a bit. But for this, we are going to be doing 3 ounces. And then next, we are going to do the lychee soda. You're just going to do about 1.5 ounces of that. And for anyone who doesn't really own a jigger like this, usually about 1 shot glass is usually akin to 1.5 ounces. So if you're having to measure just kind of on the fly like that, that's basically how you would do it. All right, so now we're going to do 1/2 ounce of lemon juice, which depending on what size lemons you get will determine how much of the lemon you need to use. I got some pretty big ones, so I think all I'm really gonna have to use is about 1/4 of it. And if you like yours a little sweeter, you can always go a little bit heavier on that. That's why I'm really not measuring it, because I don't really mind. And now we are going to do 1 ounce of this Tazo, something, passion fruit tea. Or not technically passion fruit, it just says passion. It has bits of orange and hibiscus and cinnamon in there. I think it's going to pair really nicely with the rest of the fruit we have going on here. Now we'll go ahead and get some ice in the shaker. Now we're gonna go ahead and shake. And now for a glass, you can really kind of use whatever you want. I'm sure kids aren't gonna really want to drink out of a martini glass, so let's just go with simple rocks glass, I think will do. And you can serve this on ice or without ice. When you shake it, it's gonna be chilled anyway. Since the glass isn't chilled itself, I think I'm gonna put it over ice. There we go. Now, the drink itself is complete, but we do want to kind of make it more akin to a Red Panda. So I had the idea, and maybe this is a good way to get your kids to eat a little bit more fruit, I don't know, is taking 2 strawberries and just cutting them from the leaves off, and then slitting the bottoms and putting them nestled right here on the sides to make some cute little red panda ears. There we go, so yeah, that is the non-alcoholic version of the Red Panda cocktail. And I guess I'll go ahead and give it a taste. Nothing wrong with not having a little alcohol in it. But yeah, it's very refreshing, which is what I love about it. The fresh strawberry is definitely going to be the dominant thing, but you do get a little bit of that lychee in there. So if you have a kid who's maybe a little bit picky or maybe isn't used to these kind of flavors, I think it's gonna pair really well to the point where it's not going to stand out so much and might turn them away from it. I think it really does pair with all of the extra ingredients in there. All right, so now that we made a drink for the kids, let's let the adults have a little bit of fun. For the alcoholic version, it's pretty much kind of the same deal. All you're really going to be doing is just switching out the lychee juice for the lychee liqueur, and also adding a little bit of vodka too. So we'll go ahead and start with the vodka. I'm just gonna do 1 ounce. And this is a drink that you will kind of taste the vodka in, so I would just say use your preferred vodka if you're a Tito's fan, Ciroc, Grey Goose, if you really wanna do that. All right, so now we are going to do 1/2 ounce of the lychee liqueur. Like I said before, it's very, very strong in its flavors, so you won't really need too much of it to dominate the drink. You'll get plenty of it with just 1/2 ounce. And lemon juice again, and this is probably definitely over 1/2 ounce a bit, but I don't really mind it. All right, and then we'll go back into our strawberry juice. And one thing I forgot to mention beforehand is this is homemade, so you basically kind of have control over if you want to keep the seeds kind of floating in there or if you want to strain them out a little bit more. I personally don't mind, but you can definitely use either a cheesecloth or just a fine mesh strainer to get those extra seeds out of there if it's something that you're not really interested in. So we will do another 3 ounces. And as you can see, I used, I think, 2 cups of strawberries to 1 cup of water and a tablespoon of sugar. And you can see it pretty much makes you 2 drinks. So, all right, and then we're gonna come back to the passion tea, another 1 ounce here. So I shook with a pretty big ice cube last time and it looks like it's still intact, so I'm just gonna keep using the same one. We're gonna shake to chill. And for this one, we are going to do the martini glass. I think that's just going to look the fanciest and it holds quite a bit. And now, same thing goes for this one. We are also going to do 2 strawberries for the Red Panda ears. You really don't have to find ones that are the same size and shape, but I'm just kind of picky about that myself. Like things to be uniform when I can control it. All right, and there is the alcoholic version of the Red Panda cocktail. So, should kind of taste pretty similar, but I'll go ahead and taste it anyway. I definitely think the lychee liquor itself is a lot more powerful than the lychee juice. So if you do want them to kind of taste that, you might have to go a little bit more heavy-handed on the juice just to kind of get that flavor to come through. But it's also so similar to a strawberry that not only does it pair, like I don't think you're going to really miss out on much if you can't taste all of it. But it's definitely a welcome addition. You can get a little bit of the vodka in there, but again, everything is just very refreshing. Everything pairs together very, very well. This is definitely a very good warm weather drink for sure. Now that the drinks are out of the way, let's go ahead and jump into the review. Turning Red is the latest film from animation monolith Pixar, who recently brought us some stellar films in the forms of Luca and Soul. Their latest film follows Mei Mei, a 13-year-old girl who believes she's in the prime of her life. She's a star student, outwardly passionate, and surrounded by a loving friend group and family, most notably her caring but overprotective mother. All is well, until she begins to undergo changes unlike anything other girls go through at this age. As it turns out, her family lineage has a mystical connection to red pandas, and are blessed/cursed with the ability to turn into a giant version of these animals once they begin to mature. Thankfully, the spell can be contained and fixed, but Mei Mei begins to see her furry persona as an opportunity to live out her true self and exploit her powers to finally see her favorite boy band, Four Town. There's 5 band members, which I think is great. One of the biggest things I noticed people complaining about before the film was even released was the animation style. And honestly, I kinda liked it. The Cal Arts meme has caused so much brain rot over the years that even the sight of a smoothly curved smile sends randos on the internet into a frenzy. But after watching the film, I realized how energetic the animation was, with highly expressive facial expressions and fluid motions. It actually pulls a lot from anime when it comes to emoting and movements. It's essentially what Earwig and the Witch probably should have looked like. While the animation isn't groundbreaking or incredibly unique, I can hardly say it's a fault to the story. Speaking of the story, it's perhaps the riskiest we've seen in a Pixar film simply because of how narrow the film's target audience is, being aimed at maturing tween girls and more specifically those from traditional Asian backgrounds. Because of this, not everyone who watches this will be able to resonate with Mei Mei's plight, although there are some fairly universal themes to grasp onto. While nothing groundbreaking, the themes of generational trauma and living up to your parents' expectations are evergreen and can be felt through multiple different backgrounds. With that being said, the film does make it hard to resonate with these themes by being so needlessly over the top, particularly with the mother character. Her overreacting to simple parts of growing up that would have made her a villain in any other movie makes it hard to take these issues a little bit more seriously. Encanto found a way to be both fantastical yet grounded in its themes without letting either of those two elements overstep one another. But here, it takes the gut punch out of these embarrassing moments because it's hard to imagine them even happening in real life. Not to say they can't, but the average adolescent experience has enough needlessly embarrassing moments to draw from that. You didn't really need to go that outlandish with it. Where the film occasionally succeeds is the interactions and connections between Mei Mei and her friends, capturing a fun innocence that comes with discovering yourself and recognizing traits placed on you by your parents. It's heartwarming, funny, and sometimes cringe-inducing.
Cringe!
But for me, the cringe seemed to be more of a byproduct of the writing and not so much the tongue-in-cheek self-realization of how damn embarrassing we all used to be. And while the Red Panda metaphor for puberty is pretty good, it does lose some of the meaning behind the metaphor by making it something that can be controlled and sealed away rather than something everyone can expect to face at one point or another. This isn't one of Pixar's best, but it's certainly overhated for its choice of characters and themes. Kids should have a fun time with it. And if they have any questions about puberty or periods, the film puts the ball in the parents' court to cover that. And if you're scared to have that conversation, just think of how your kid may feel. I don't think this is the first kids' film to cover these kinds of topics, but some natural parts of life need to be destigmatized so future generations don't feel so alone when they don't have to. So for my rating, I'll take 3 tickets to 4-Town, please, out of 5. Guys, thank you so much for tuning into the Martini Shot. I am so happy to be bringing you this kind of content for my new bar set, courtesy of the wonderful people here at the Hit Network. If you like what you saw here and would like to see more, don't forget to drop a like and subscribe. And down in the comments, let me know what you thought of Turning Red, or if you've given the cocktails a try. I'd love to hear your feedback. I also have a website, martinishot.blog, where you can find more in-depth reviews of every movie I cover, as well as additional movie-themed cocktails. Until next time, live deliciously, but please remember to drink responsibly. See ya.